Hello everyone and welcome to another long-awaited album review from my studio here in Northumberland. Sorry it's taken me so long to get round to doing this. I promised it quite a few weeks ago now on my previous video, but in my defence I have been quite busy. As you can see, I've redecorated the studio, so I've stuck mega floppy disks on the chimney breast in the studio around my Pink Floyd inspired print Cats on Synthesizers in Space. And on top of that, I've got a collage on the wall of old compact cassette recording tapes and the designs on the covers, and I've arranged it in a collage as a wallpaper at the top. And I've also, with my Amiga 500, I've also painted the top of the desk that it sits on in a nice blue-grey colour, and I'm hoping to utilise the Amiga 500 to its full capabilities very soon and get some good music software for it and utilise it in composition. And I know I've been promising a video on the Amiga for some time now, but hopefully that will happen at some point soon. So yeah, but without further ado, let's crack on with today's album review. So the album I'll be reviewing today is this. It's Yes's 90125 album from 1983. And this is the 11th album from the prog rock band Yes. And it's definitely a shift in their musical style. This was partially to the fact that when the band started on this album, when the members of the band started on this album, it wasn't going to be a Yes album at all. Yeah, there's something really fresh and vibrant about this album. I think it really helped that the material wasn't intentionally written for a Yes album. And I think it helped establish a new identity for the band, even before they knew that this was going to be a reformed version of Yes. The sound is different, and so is the sleeve design. It's very minimalistic, isn't it? It isn't a complex drawing from Roger Dean, even though I love those Roger Dean illustrations. This is a very minimalistic design. It's done by Gary Mowat on an Apple IIe computer. And it's a completely different design, but then it's a completely different album. And I love the colour. I love like the blue and the pink and yellow against this grey, and how this curved elliptical Y is set around that, and it's very sleek. And that's the back. We can see the band members and the tracks on there. And oh, it's just beautiful. I love it. I love it. I mean, I love Roger Dean, but you know, this is just, I just love it. And then here we have the inner sleeve, and it's in a lovely shade of green. It has all the lyrics on here. But yeah, I love this shade of green. It's beautiful. So, a brief history about this album. After Yes disbanded in the early 1980s, two of the members, Alan White and Chris Squire, formed a new band called Cinema, and they were joined by guitarist Trevor Rabin. And together they started writing material for Cinema's debut album, and more former members of Yes became involved in the album. So keyboardist Tony Kaye, who was the keyboardist in the early days of Yes before Rick Wakeman joined. And then they got Trevor Horn involved as the producer. And when they were looking for a suitable vocalist, John Anderson was the natural candidate. And because nearly everyone involved in the album were former Yes members, it made sense to make the album a Yes album rather than using the Cinema name. So Cinema became the name of the instrumental on the B-side instead. The first and probably most iconic song from this album is Owner of a Lonely Heart. And I remember hearing this, and this song is what persuaded me to buy this album, because I thought there's just something so intriguing about it. it's so striking. The verses are nicely strung together by that memorable hook in the middle, and every so often there's those whiz bangs that punctuate the mix, and they just add a sense of fun to this track. And I love when John Anderson kind of reacts back to them. So you have these like, bam, and he's like, wow, and that's quickly followed by that electric guitar solo, and it just really gels it all together. And then when the track builds back up at the end, there's just something so fresh about it. It really is a fresher breath air, and Trevor does some wonderful things with the production in that track. It's a truly amazing track. Hold On has a really nice balance between the verse and the chorus. The major chorus really adds a lifting feel to the song. I kind of hope to this struggle that the lyrics portray. I'm going to read from the sleeve, from the lyrics. Justice to the left of you, justice to the right. Speak when you are spoken to, don't pretend you're right. This life's not for living, it's for fighting and for wars. No matter what the truth is, hold on to what is yours. And then on to the chorus. Hold on, wait, maybe the answer's looking for you. Hold on, wait, take your time, think it through. Yes, I can make it through. It's just so optimistic, and Trevor's ability in the production to really add that lifting effect in the song, similar to Owner of a Lonely Heart. It just works amazingly here. In the kind of middle eight of this song, there's a really interesting technique used by Trevor Horn, where he has these sampled bits of vocals which add another texture underneath John's vocals. And I'm assuming he used a Fairlight CMI for this. And the Fairlight CMI was a very early sampler, and in the UK, Trevor was one of the first people to own one, along with Kate Bush and Peter Gabriel. I love the sitar in the song It Can Happen. There's some really nice timbre choices in this album that really complements the whole production. It's like you've got the sitar in It Can Happen, and you've also got those brief harp glissandos in Owner of a Lonely Heart, and they just add that little bit more of a zing to the album, I feel. I love the introduction to Changes, all those irregular rhythms that kind of cross over into each other and you can't get a grip on it, and it kind of suggests the title of the track. It is all changing and moving forward and progressing before finally it builds up, finally breaking into the regular rhythm of the song. And there's just something so raw and charming about it. It's just brilliant. And then you had that final flourish of those rhythms again at the end of the song, and I think that makes that track work so well. On to side 2 now, and we are thrown into the high energy instrumental Cinema. So you remember me telling you earlier that this was going to be the name of the band. And it certainly has that filmic quality that reminds me of like action films. This was recorded live at the then Air Studios. It was located in Oxford Street at that point in time. Air Studios today is now in a converted church in Hampstead. And Cinema nicely leads. It's just such a great track. I can't put it into words. It's just absolutely, there's something so epic about it. It nicely leads into Leave It, which starts with just vocals, and it does have those great a cappella harmonies there. Again, the driving rhythm in the hook certainly hangs this song together. It really just gels it all together, and again, it's just such a tune. It's amazing. I love the epic feeling created in the chorus of Our Song. I love any lyrics that describe music. It's just like, it's kind of like it's describing itself whilst they're making great music. I'm like, oh, it's amazing. I'm going to quote it from here. Our song, it gives us a reason. Our song, that good remedy. Music has magic, that stuff of syncopation. Oh, Amazing. True poetry there. City of Love evokes that sense of danger with those sharp chords, those staccato chords that cut through the mix. And it was inspired by New York City at night, and the lyrics do reflect this. Let me find it on here. Supervise this good treatment, alternative line by line. So the street guy's observant, take him for a ride, have a good time. Like a legend, a man he's sharp, his woman gladly watching as he strides out of the dark. Better be quick, get away. And I can't evoke the danger enough, but I mean, Yes has always been brilliant at real poetical lyrics. And again, that is a good example of poetical lyrics. Hearts is the final flourish on this album, definitely a joint effort of everyone working on this album. The part that always sticks in my mind is the final verse, which hangs on that unresolved chord. It leaves me thinking long after the album is finished. It's quite unusual in one sense. You always expect the final song to finish on like a repeat of the chorus, but this instead moves back to the verse structure, back to another verse, and then just ends at the end of that verse, and it just leaves me thinking long after that album has finished. So to conclude, this Yes album remains one of my favourites because of its fresh approach, clever production values, while still being very accessible to listeners who may not be familiar with Yes's other output. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and about the album in the comments below. I'd be really interested to hear. Is this your favourite Yes album, or perhaps you prefer that earlier output? I would be really interested to know. Before I finish this video, I thought I'd let you know that I've released a new track on SoundCloud as part of my Studio Bubble project. And it's a project that I've created during this lockdown due to coronavirus. And it's something, it's music I've been uploading for you to listen to and enjoy whilst in lockdown, so you can listen to it whilst you're cooking or doing housework, and I hope you enjoy listening to them as much as I've had making them. So I've uploaded a new track. It's called Lake Tarini, and it's my imagining of a picturesque, distant place. I'll put the link below. And if you haven't listened to the other tracks on Studio Bubble, have a listen and let me know what you think. So that's all from my YouTube channel today. I'll be back very soon with another video, probably about working within the studio, but I will do another album review in the not too distant future. Before I forget as well, I did see a really good video of Trevor Horn explaining his going through a track breakdown of Owner of a Lonely Heart and his new version of that track on his album Trevor Horn Reimagines the 80s, and I think that's a really good video to check out if you're a fan of the album like me. So I'll also, if I can, put a link to that video below as well as the link to Studio Bubble. But until next time, stay safe, keep well, and I'll see you again all very soon. Bye! Tina wasn't really in today's video because she was outside enjoying the nice weather, weren't you, Tina? Oh, yes. She's such a sweetheart.